Hey everyone, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer, and welcome back to another video on Rainbow Six Siege, and today I'd like to tell you guys what to avoid while making strats, because let me tell you, when you play Siege and you don't have strats, it's frustrating. But, on the other end, when you have a strat that doesn't work, it's even more frustrating, because you know that that thing where you didn't have a strategy would have probably worked better, you know? And, first off, let me tell you guys, strategies in Rainbow Six Siege, basic as possible. That is the best piece of advice I can give to you, is basic as possible, right? Still, maybe you can rely on the 5 people, but you don't want it to be like, all right, I'm gonna breach this hatch, and then this operator needs to be here, and this drone needs to be here, and this and this and this and this and this and this. If there's 20 steps, you're not gonna get them all. Okay, it's very simple. So when you make a strategy, you don't ever want to make it way too complex. Now, not only when you make it too complex are you going to have a hard time just getting all the steps done, that's going to be more work on your guys' end, you know, to have the same strategy when you could have simplified it, but it's also going to be harder to troubleshoot, because if one thing goes wrong in that strategy, it can mean the entire thing goes bad, okay? So generally what you want to do is just keep it simple. You can have some cheeky angles. Doesn't mean don't have cheeky angles or, you know, call outs or having even an IGL. Like, you don't have to not have that. Just basically elevator pitch. If you can explain it to someone in like 30 seconds or so, what, like, the general gist of what you're doing, then it's probably a fine strategy. Now, something that I have fallen prey to a lot, because I used to not watch Pro League, was I used to not understand the general flow of how certain maps worked, okay? So let's take, for instance, Coastline, okay? If I show you Coastline and we're defending Hookah, there's a couple key points on Hookah that are really important when you defend. One is, of course, the Hookah room. No one usually chills in there. But there's also Cool Vibes, there's Aqua, and there's VIP. What am I going to do to manage those sites? If I do an Aqua defense and I set all my resources all the way to Penthouse, is probably not going to work, okay? Unless that becomes the meta. Then I probably want a strategy that's going to respond to a Penthouse attack, if that's what people like to do, you know? That's, you know, what you want to do. I used to make strategies that were very solid, except they didn't account for the main thing that people do, right? This is why one of the reasons in ranked, a lot of people will ban Thatcher, because everyone knows how to use Thatcher. You know what's going to happen, and it breaks the flow. They got to use Maverick, Kelly, or Twitch or something else, you know? That's why a lot of people ban Mira, is because a lot of people who don't know how to anchor rely on Miras to be able to anchor properly. Now, another kind of side note is you want to make sure that the strategy for your players, you know, you have to really identify how your players want to play, that the strategy is not too loose for them. So what I mean is like an, just wing it type strategy. Or it's not too hard for them, where they absolutely need to do every single step, okay? You want to find a balance that fits your players, right? So if you're a team of a bunch of people that can somehow survive off of having 5 roamers, but they need a hard strategy, like everyone is roaming these specific areas, then build that, right? If it's a little bit more traditional, where you have maybe 1 or 2 roamers and some anchors, and they're generally holding certain rooms, and that works for you, you need to focus on that. Or if you want something specific to work, like a 5 roamer strategy or a 5 anchor strategy, then you need to hard practice that, okay? That's going to be something that it really hurts your strategy. A lot of people, what happens is they don't hard practice, they don't dry run their strategies. And what happens, this has happened to me before, this has happened to all the people I play with, is we forget pieces of the strategy, and then what's the point of having the strategy? We throw it out the window and it's gone, and we don't win the round, and we could have won the round if we had just dry runned or just practiced the strategy. So I know this is a video about things to avoid. So what I want you to avoid is complacency. Practice your strategy, break it down. If there's a complicated angle, try to figure it out. Try to figure out exactly where to shoot, right? Because if you're bucking from below and it only takes 1 shotgun shell and you have to waste 4, you're not doing your part beforehand in the strategy. Yeah, you're probably going to do that buck. You're probably going to buck that battery bandit. The bandit battery, bandit battery. Oh God, try to say that 100 times fast. The bandit battery off the wall. You're going to get it done. But did you really get it done the best way possible? Because you could have only taken 1 or 2 buck shots when you took 4, you know? So what a lot of people will do is they won't dry run, and they'll just kind of have their strategy in the back of their mind, and they'll try to do it like every so often, or anytime the map comes up. Oh yeah, I'll do the strategy now, and then they end up messing it up, and then it's a disaster. Another thing that you need to think about is what's going to happen when an operator gets banned, right? Some teams have Castle as one of their main operators. What if Castle gets banned? What if, you have a Thermite main and the Thermite gets banned? And you guys already banned Ace. You got to figure out what to do with Hibana. What do you do if Capitao's banned? Or Monte. I mean, Monte's easy. A lot of people just play Blitz. But you guys see what I mean? What happens if Mira gets banned and you were playing the Mira spot? What are you going to do to react and fix your strategy? Or what are you going to change about it? Do you have backup strategies, or do you change the main strategies? That's something you need to go over, and you need to have a plan for, right? Both of them works. What works is when you know what you're doing, okay? So if you make a strategy and you have a completely different one that everyone knows, if an operator gets banned, boom, solve the problem. If you have a modified version of it when a specific operator gets banned, boom, you solve the problem. You solved the problem both ways. Maybe you have a kind of a mix depending on which operator gets banned, depends on what you're going to do. Whatever the case may be, have a plan. A lot of the tips in this video are going to be not only making the plan, because making the plan is probably the easiest part, because it's really fun. You sit down, you have this thing in front of you, you treat it like a whiteboard, you draw all your lines, your ops and all that, and then you don't practice it. That's the hard part, is practicing it and dry running it and getting it down, getting the intricacies down, and just making sure all the players understand the strategies. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. If you do anything that you do while making strategies that kind of helps you move it along, or maybe just makes it flow better, drop your tips down in the comments below. If you'd like to support the channel, you can check the mice that I use in the description below, the wired to the wireless one. And yeah, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer. I suck just as bad as you do at video games, and I'll see you guys in the next one.